Hey ATAK fans, AJ here. In this video I'm going to cover the drawing tools and the route tool to cover distance, area, and elevation gain. First, let's start with the drawing tools. Drawing tools give the options for circle, ellipse, square, polyline or polygon, and freehand. Let's start with circle. I set my desired center point and then a radius. It shows that it's out a radius of 11.2 miles. I can click on the shape, hit the pencil mark at about the 3 o'clock area, and you can see all of my options here. I can change the radius, say 5 miles. I can also have the option to change from feet, yards, kilometers, whatever I'd like. Let's change it to yards, and we'll make it 9 yards. And you can see the circle has gotten much smaller. Now I can change it back to miles, and we'll put it at 8 miles. Other options I have is to change the area calculation. I have square feet, square miles, meters, kilometers, nautical miles, and acres. Right now it's set at acres. Now it's going to show I'm at 200 square miles. Circumference is the same options. I can have an option to show a label or not. I can change the color, both the stroke and fill. And I have the option to change the transparency and the line thickness. Line style is also an option. I can change it from solid to dashed, dashed to dotted, dotted to outline, and we'll go back to solid. So these are my editing options that I have for circle. Many of these same editing options are available on all the other shapes. So hit end editing. And now we'll use the ellipse tool. I want to draw the endpoints, and then it asks me to put the depth of the ellipse. And there we go. If I want to change that, I click on it, hit the pencil at 3 o'clock. And now I have these same options like I had in the circle. I can change the colors, the line style, and the area calculations. One of the options I have in the ellipse is to actually move it around just with my finger. So reshape it, drag it around. And editing when you want it, when you have it where you want it. Next we'll do is the square. Once you have 3 corners in, you can, it'll draw the square, and then you have the option to change all of these and move it around much like the ellipse. All the same other options, except it will have a tactical overlay option which will color the sides for you. We'll hit end editing. The next tool we'll use is Polyline or Polygon. It starts as a polyline, so as I draw out and I get to my end, I can hit end shape, and I can interrogate that shape, see the length, I can see the start and end point. I can change how I want that, if I want it as address or MGRS or degree decimal. I can also change the length from feet, miles to meters, kilometers, and nautical miles. And the last option is I can close the shape and make it into a polygon. I mentioned this tool is also called Polygon or Polyline because we start with a polygon and we use the closed shape to make it into a polygon. But you can also draw a shape, and then if you click on your first vertices, it will automatically make it into a polygon. Last option is the Freehand Tool. And I hit end, and I can hit more information, and here's where I can change the line color. Click on a new color and I click on it, it'll change the line. I can add line or delete lines. I can change the line thickness, and I can change the style. Let's move it to dotted. So this is all of the drawing tools. And now let's do some scenarios that shows us using these drawing tools with the route tool. First scenario is you have a fire up on the ridge. You've hiked up there, you started cutting line, but now you need to bring a hose lay up to finish mopping it up. The engine's parked down here. We're going to use the dropper tool, drop a marker where the engine is. We'll edit this, and we'll call it brush 1. So now we know where the engine is, and we know where the fire is. Let's use the drawing tool to trace this trail we hiked up to mark our line. So we'll open up drawing tools, and we're going to use the Polyline, and we're going to start up here, and we're just going to trace the trail from the imagery all the way down the engine. We'll hit end shape, and if I click on it, I can hit the edit tool, and I can change the color if I like. If I want it to stand out more, maybe orange, and maybe I want to make it solid, I have that option. I can hit end editing, and now I can see that it's 1,777 feet long. What I don't have is how much elevation. I also have the option to change the label. We can call it hose lay. And I can actually label it as well. So we know it's 1,777 feet long, but we don't know the elevation change. One thing I could do is click on the brush engine and see its elevation. Click on the fire elevation and do some quick math, or I could use the route tool. So we'll go over and open up route tool. And you see the option for a plus sign for adding a route. The other option is to import a route. We're going to do add a route. And I'm going to show you how these routes are set up. Initially, it wants you to set up a route for driving. So it has a start of where I'm at the fire station right now. I could enter an address or mark a marker, but we're not going to do that. We're not going to show off the driving in this video. We're going to do a manual route. So click on manual. I'll choose the option of walking. You have all these other options in here as well. We'll choose walking, hit OK, and it will start with a polygon line segment. So I could draw this out. Let's say I mess up and it's gone too far. I can hit undo, and I can keep drawing again. And if I keep going undo back, it will just get rid of the route. I have the other option. If I hit plus, manual, is to hit draw, and I would get a line segment, and it automatically makes these vertices in here. And I can hit undo and get rid of that route. So the other option I'm going to show you is to import this route, this hose lay that we've already drawn. So hit import. I have the option to file select. If I did that, I could go through the device and find the file if it was downloaded on the device. Or I can use map select and just click on hose lay, and it's going to automatically bring it in. So right now it brought it in. It shows it's 1,777 feet. And if I click this little icon down below next to the gear, it looks like a little mountain. Now I can get my elevation loss or gain. So it's from the top to bottom, 361 feet of elevation. If I scroll out here, you can see this blue dot go down the hose lay, and then you can see at any point I can see how much elevation I've lost, or as I go back up, gained, and how far it's gone. So that is using the route tool. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go out and look at an ops map on a fire and see how you might use the route tool on an operations map. So this is the Fairview incident. You can see some TAK users out here. And we have the end of this hand line here. And we want to know how far it is from the end of this hand line to this controlled fire line edge right here. And we're going to use the route tool to do that. So I've got it zoomed in here pretty good, exactly where I want it. I'm going to open up the route tool. You can see my old route from the hose lay is still on here. I'm going to hit plus. I'm going to go manual, menu walking, and I'm going to hit draw. So we're going to do like this freehand thing. And we're going to draw with my finger right along the fire edge. This can be helpful to use a stylus if you have one. And then we can hit end. So let's say you make a mistake and you want to tighten some stuff up. You can hit the pencil icon and then you can actually start moving. Click on one of these vertices and start moving around. You can actually add a vertice as well and move, the end, add a vertice. And I think this looks pretty good representation of the distance it is from the end of the hose of that hand line to the control line. And we'll hit end, and now you can see it's 1.5 miles long. Next thing we're going to do is go over a hazmat incident and show you how to use the circle tool to do some measuring. So this is Brasscraft and Corona. They've got these tanks in the back. We're going to say one is leaking, and we want to put a 150-foot exclusion zone around it. And you may realize, at night it's very hard to see, to measure distance, especially you have different crews coming in from different areas to start doing some evacuations. So we're going to use the drawing tool. We're going to hit the circle tool, and I'll put the center right on these tanks. And I'm just going to click anywhere because I know I can edit it to put it at 150 feet. So if I click out here, that's 557 feet. I can hit the edit tool. I can go into my radius, and let's set this at 150 feet. I want to change this to red. I can type in here, exclusion zone. And editing, and now I've got this 150-foot exclusion zone. The beauty of doing this in ATAK is now I can send this to other users in ATAK on my server, and everybody will be on the same page. We would be able to see other ATAK users. Well, I could even set this as a geofence to alarm me if an ATAK user went inside this exclusion zone. So that's one of the benefits of the drawing tool on a hazmat. Let's say you wanted to know how big a building was. How many square feet is this commercial building right here? I can use the drawing tool, and I can use the rectangle, and I can edit it if I don't feel I've got it just right. Go in here, move this around. And get it just so. And now I can see that this thing is 28,000 square feet. So if you're thinking about a large commercial structure, search, water flow, those sort of things, you can see that option there. I can use that tactical overlay. This is more for law enforcement, but it colors the sides. And one last thing I wanted to show you on this is say for a collapse. You can click on this minimum safe distance icon, and I want to say the collapse zone is 30 feet. I want to change the color of it to pink. And now I've got a 30-foot perimeter around this shape I already had that I can set for, say, a collapse zone. And I call that tool minimum safe distance in ATAK. The last tool we're going to use is the range tools. And we're going to go up to Sierra Peak up here. We're going to turn on the range tools. And two of the tools we're going to use is the second one in. Allows me to click up any point and any other point on the map and gives me a distance and a heading. 59 degrees true north. I can move these anywhere I want and anytime. The other option is a fixed point. I can click on Sierra Peak here and say engine 5, and I can see that it's 31 degrees from Sierra Peak to engine 5, and it's 2.07 miles. To go to that, I can just hit the trash can. So I hope this video was helpful in showing off how you can use the drawing tools and the route tool for looking at measuring distance, area, and elevation changes. Thanks for watching.